Welcome to Something Crunchy. Tyler is homies with Blake. Blake is the older bro of Blair. Blair is married to Tyler, and is a slutty slut.
Welcome to Something Crunchy.
What the hell is crunchy?
Welcome to Something Crunchy.
All right, back in the studio with T-Box and a hole in B. Let's put them up.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
How are we feeling tonight?
Oh, if I were any more charged up, I'd be shooting lightning bolts out of my nipples.
Oh, y'all.
It's good stuff.
That's good.
It's a hot start.
That's a hot start. Yeah, I'm pretty yoked for tonight. We are starting off with some crunchspiracy theories.
Yes, I love that.
It's been a while.
It has.
It's been a while. We are dipping right into fan theories that turn regular movies into horror movies.
Love it.
Ooh.
That's right. It's a mid-season horror sode. It doesn't have to be Crunchtober to get scary around here.
No, it does not.
We needed this.
We needed this. We're going to talk about the crop of movies out this year, what's to come. I'm excited. Let's first
Love
talk
it.
about some fan theories. So there's a lot of ways to combine two movies, a lot of ways to completely retrain your thinking about what you've seen from a movie that you already know.
Oh my god.
I want to first start with a popular, more well-known theory, if you will. You may have heard this before. Everyone knows Home Alone.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
A family comedy. It tells the story of a neglected child named Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin. Verbally abused and abandoned by his cruel family, Kevin turns to torture and maiming of two desperate criminals for entertainment. Hilarious stuff.
Sure.
But if that premise wasn't already horrifying, journalist Jason Conception of Grantland has made a pretty solid case that Home Alone is actually the supervillain origin story of John Kramer, a.k.a. the Jigsaw Killer from the Saw movies.
What?
Oh, no. Come on.
Buzz, your girlfriend.
Woof. Better come down and pound me. Let's discuss a little bit.
Whoa.
There are some key pieces of evidence in Kevin's tendencies to experience terrifying hallucinations, for one, like the way he did down in the basement with the water heater.
Oh, yeah?
His
Okay.
fascination with his elderly neighbor, a rumored serial killer. His use of recorded media to fool his enemies. Part 1 and in the sequel, The Talk
You got
Boy.
10 seconds to get you no good for flashing.
This
They-
is quite the theory.
They invented a toy just for this kid in that second movie. The Talk Boy had one, had to have it.
Of course.
Thing
Had to have
was
it.
so cool.
And of course, his ability to devise ingenious and often dangerous traps. Traps which, like Jigsaw's slightly more horrifying versions, have to be activated by the victim themselves. There's so much more, including Macaulay Culkin's eventual resemblance to Jigsaw actor Tobin Bell, the viciousness of Kevin's home defense traps, most of which would have caused serious injury and possibly death in real life.
Yeah.
And
Harv, you're missing some teeth.
Muff. Ooh, you're missing some teeth. There's also a presence of a clown doll in the McAllister's basement, an image possibly embedded in Kevin's tortured psyche, and eventually inspiring Jigsaw's iconic puppet Billy. So maybe,
This is crazy.
Next time watching it, just remember you could be watching the first tentative steps into darkness by a terrifying murderer. Nothing special.
Oh my god. Kevin.
He did it again in New York City, too.
Yeah.
He's got a thing for torturing people.
I mean,
They came after
I
me,
am
too.
I am less
Allegedly.
I'm less of a fan of mixing two movies together. I don't like where one becomes another. We have a couple of those. That's a popular style
Sure.
of fan theory here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a fan of just completely rearranging your thought. Another
I mean, it is like fun to think about.
It
where
is-
it's
it
like,
is fun to
wow,
think
like,
about.
Okay.
What if this is the prequel
the
to Saw?
the one good prequel to movie adaptation that I did like, and it wasn't tied to horror. I did like Ben Affleck's character in Good Will Hunting,
Okay.
theoried to grow up into the Ben Affleck character of The Town. both in Boston, bank robber, like that. That actually was like,
That could work.
like had to change his identity, like made
Interesting.
sense. That actually like
I love how people come up with these
I
theories.
know,
Oh my god.
I know.
Wish I had a double burger.
Conspiracy theories. Let's continue.
Yes. This is good.
This is a good one here. The terrifying fan theory about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, I already believe it.
That movie's so creepy.
I could definitely see there being like just this crazy darkness behind everything.
The first one.
Exactly. The original film adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a beloved classic. The 2005 Johnny Depp remake, not so much. Not so much.
It got weird.
It got weird. This is largely due to the deranged but brilliant performance of Gene Wilder, who was at the
love
height of his
Gene.
off-center comedic powers in 1971. But it's also due to the dark tone of the film. This G-rated movie is full of disturbing moments.
It's
was-
G.
No way.
G-rated in 1971.
Wow.
Oh my god. I would have given that a PG-13 now.
At least, yeah, for sure.
The story makes little effort to redeem the transparently awful children who tour Wonka's magical candy factory, making you cheer when the kids are variously sucked into chocolate sauce plumbing, turned into blueberries, or shrunk into microscopic size. Of course, in reality, those events would be horrifying. And in reality, a guy like Willy Wonka wouldn't be allowed within 50 feet of children.
Definitely not.
But while the movie is freaky enough, we can make it even freakier with a bit of pure imagination.
Of course.
What do you
It had to be done.
down sweets?
So you want to turn this dark comedy into a horror film? What if these kids were dead and they were all being taken through the circles of Dante's hell and deposited in their proper place? That's an interesting thought.
What?
According to Uprocks via BuzzFeed, there's a fan theory that does just that, explaining the parallels between Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and the classic poem The Inferno by Dante, in which hell is divided into 9 circles where different kinds of damned souls reside. Short version, the factory is hell and Wonka is Chiron, the ferryman taking a batch of newly dead kids on a tour and depositing them in the correct circle based on their fundamental sin. If you ever thought there was something like a little creepy about this sugary tale, you're not alone. Many people have speculated that Willy Wonka is actually a calculated murderer who takes his delight in luring the children into his factory, planning out each of their demises. This explains why
God.
Wonka is completely unfazed by their various accidents throughout the film.
Yeah,
And
he
also-
doesn't even seem
Yeah.
concerned. He's like, oh,
We lost
well,
another one.
guess that's what happens.
Not to mention the Oompa Loompas, who are always ready with their prepared song and dance routine as each child faces their fate. Talk about a dark twist. Classic kid story.
Wow.
Your thoughts?
And after like thinking about like how each of them go, and it's because of like certain things, like the kid that goes in the chocolate, so it's like gluttony or something, you know, it's like,
For sure. Yeah, you could just render that a different color, throw in some Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and you got 7.
Right? Like, those are
train out
deadly
kids
sins.
instead of adults. And it's just like,
Yeah, tell it from a darker
The,
way
the circles
instead
of hell. That's a very dark way of looking at some.
some
I'll
kids,
certainly
Willy
never look at it
Wonka.
the same. but
G-rated
yeah.
programming.
Yeah.
I still can't believe it's G, but like I actually
Ah, that blows my mind.
The scariest part of that theory
Yeah.
was the true fact that that's a G-rated movie.
it really blows my mind. That's a good conspiracy theory right there.
That's a good one. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right. Let's move on to Ferris Bueller.
What? Okay.
Not our beloved Ferris. What did he do?
I'll go. I'll go. I'll go. I'll go. I'll go.
Poor
He'll keep
Cameron.
calling. He'll keep calling.
I love this.
9
This-
times.
This is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah?
You're going to like this.
Okay.
Everyone is fond of the Ferris Bueller character. The inflappable, clever teenager who effortlessly trolls authority figures is widely admired by everyone at school and is such a great friend that he organizes a spectacular day for his buddy Cameron in order to snap him out of his depression. What's so scary about all of that? Well, believe it or not, there is indeed solid potential for a horror movie lurking underneath this 80s comedy classic. As explained by The Wire via The Atlantic, Cameron is a depressed kid dealing with a terrible home life and a father who's implied to be cruel and cold. As a result, Cameron wants to act out but can't. So like the unnamed narrator in Fight Club, he imagines a cool best friend who does all the fun
my
stuff that Cameron
God.
can't bring himself to do. Said hallucination comes complete with a pretty and supportive girlfriend, a snazzy wardrobe, and the magical ability to get away with everything. In fact, the theory gets even more grim if you realize that Cameron probably never leaves his room until he ventures out into the garage to destroy his father's prized car. Suddenly, this isn't a lighthearted comedy about facing your fears and growing up. It's a story of a psychologically damaged kid who snaps, has a lengthy breakdown, and possibly even drives his father's prized car off the cliff in the efforts to kill himself.
Oh my God.
Dark.
That is crazy. And then he falls in the pool and he
Yes.
like does
And he
all the
contemplates not coming up.
right.
If you
I
follow this
mean-
premise, the adventures that take place in the movie are all actually just figments of Cameron's imagination conjured up in his head as he lives out
like
dreams
this.
through his imaginary friend Ferris. Interesting.
That is crazy. It's not that insane to like that's a great
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
I like it.
It's a movie you've seen 1,000 times. It's just a cool way of thinking about it completely differently.
Perspective.
Except for everybody like knows Ferris and is like
Yeah.
Save Ferris.
Save Ferris. That's a good one.
that is a good one.
Blair, what flavor of movie do I just hate more than anything?
Musicals.
That's correct.
Thank
Thank you.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell her what she's won.
And what's like the first one did you think of?
I'm gonna say Grease.
That's exactly right. God, you're good at this.
I know you too well, Blake.
This is a popular one, but it's still one of my favorites because I hate Grease. I really just fucking hate it. I don't like it at all. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. It has no nostalgia for me. I don't care for Grease. No good.
Probably didn't help that I watched it like a million times
That
as
didn't
a
help.
kid.
Did not help.
It didn't help.
Did not help. Not
Singing
gonna
all the
lie.
songs Blake
Sandy was
fucking
pretty
hate
hot
this
though,
movie.
right?
She
I
was.
hate musicals.
Sandy was hot.
The only part of the movie I didn't mind was when she was in like the black on black
I
with
knew
the
you were
black
about to
heels
say
and
that.
the like. I mean, who didn't enjoy that?
She had her stooge, her hair all poofed, perfectly poofed.
The old stooge and poof.
So hot.
All right. Grease is a weird fucking movie. Even in 1978, when the setting was just 20 years in the past, its vision of high school in the 50s and mixed lighthearted humor with some really dark stuff. Lines like, "Did she put up a fight?" in the song Summer Nights have not aged well. In
Oh
modern
my god, yeah.
yeah, didn't age well.
I'm not even thinking about that.
You can't do that. You guys.
She put up a fight. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Not after I
don't
Now I
knocked
have
her
like
out.
a weird
that.
feeling about the whole thing.
So
No,
that
I
already
punched her real good.
So that already
Stopped wiggling.
Puts a dark twist on
Yeah,
that.
that's
In modern day,
creepy.
it seems to depict just a wholly alien world to us. On top of all of that, it ends with the two main characters, Sandy and Danny, getting into a hot sports car and flying off into the air. That weird ending inspired one of the greatest and most enduring fan theories of all time.
Ooh.
The theory that the whole story is an Owl Creek Bridge-like death fantasy as Sandy lies dying on a beach somewhere. Pivoting off a line from Summer Nights that Danny sings, "I saved her life, she nearly drowned." The theory, as detailed by the Washington Post, suggests that Sandy did indeed drown, and that Danny is a boy trying to resuscitate her while her dying brain hallucinates this world of high school in this fantasy where they wind up as a cute couple. The theory originated on Reddit in 2013, and it has spawned some other versions, like one that accepts most of the film as real, but theorizes that Sandy commits suicide after the Sandra D number. In the last scene where everyone's problems magically disappear and everyone is happy is the hallucination. The common denominator to the theory is that Sandy dies at the beach, whether being saved or drowned by Danny, and evidence is served both at the beginning and at the end of the film. Grease opens with Sandy and Danny meeting at the beach and ends with a final shot of the couple driving up towards the skies in a flying car, signifying Sandy being sent up to heaven. I've got the chills. They're multiplying.
I was about to say they're multiple. That's crazy.
Certainly possible.
digest.
And
I know, I'm
see
soaking
it.
it all in and like just going over the whole movie in my head, and it's just there's a lot of different parts that kind of like the whole Frenchie scene, like everything kind of like goes into
Yes.
this weird little
like fantasies.
it's very fantasy, yes.
Very dreamlike.
Very
And Cha-Cha,
dreamlike.
like in what way is she in high school?
She's
37.
Cha-Cha was minimum 47.
She has
That just
4
proves that
kids.
this conspiracy theory like
Cha-Cha
could
was
happen.
too old to be a chaperone at that at that party. That
Seriously.
wasn't gonna work.
She has 4 kids from 3 guys.
She's got kids in this high school.
But there is like a lot that I feel like we could like connect to that theory for sure.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, I love these. These are so
Yeah,
good.
These are twisted. They're very clever. That one's creative.
I'm loving fans. Y'all are awesome.
How
This is
else do you
great.
explain though the car driving off? Like that was a dumb.
There was a lot
ending.
that just like was like I
A
don't
lot
even
that
know what's
didn't make
happening
sense.
right now. Like
Okay.
I thought they just didn't have anything else better to say. They're just like, how are we gonna end this? I don't know. They just drive off into the clouds, into the sunset.
We got a
Sure.
bunch of cute songs, and that's all done.
Yeah.
How are we gonna wrap this whole thing up?
I feel like these people are overthinking it. It's not, it's not that deep. People aren't that smart. They're just like, yeah, throw it up there. That looks cool.
you
Yeah.
can just fly away in the car. It's
The
fine.
end.
And perfect ending. There we go.
We're still talking about it a long time later. I hate the fucking movie. We're still talking about it.
I bet you love this theory. Though.
I love the theory. Yeah, this makes it almost watchable. Okay. Allow me to forever ruin Finding Nemo for you.
Oh no.
Can I
Okay.
please forever ruin Finding Nemo for our audience here?
Yes,
and
please,
for
yeah.
you guys?
I mean, now you have to ruin it.
This is a sad theory.
It's sad.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I told you I was going to ruin it for you. And you think I was going to give you
it's already sad.
an exciting, happier ending?
It's sad for like an hour and 45 minutes, and it's happy for about 6.5.
Let's ruin that.
That 6.5 is going down the drain.
I want that
fast.
6.5 back.
All right, what do we got?
If you remember the film's opening scene, Marlin wakes up from a
Yes.
barracuda attack on his family to find that only one of his eggs, Nemo, survived.
Yeah, so sad.
One theory suggests that the grieving father only imagined that one of his sons survived, which means that Nemo wasn't actually real and is only a figment of Marlin's imagination conjured up to cope with his loss of his family. Following this theory, the entire movie is an allegory of a father's journey through the 5 stages of grief, as many fans
I'm gonna
suggest.
cry.
And the kicker, Nemo, actually means nobody in Latin.
I just got chills.
That's the other
That's-
side of the coin. Like they're showing you one side because it's Disney, but the other side that
But
you
you know,
don't
Disney
see,
always has some sort of weird little.
they'll like
Disney
peek
is
to the
fucked
other
up.
side. They will definitely show you the other negative side of that coin every once in a while,
Oh
but
my
they
god!
they
Now
don't
I have
flip
to
it over.
watch it again just so I can like.
That's crazy.
Ruined.
Totally.
It's absolutely ruined.
Never,
That
never
6
could think of it
minutes is
again.
so gone.
Just ruined. That 6.5
Oh
minutes
my
of
god,
happiness. Yeah.
Blake!
I'm sorry.
My heart is broken.
I can't continue.
I can't continue.
We're gonna watch like our kids watching Finding Nemo and be like, "Oh, look at Nemo!" We're like Tyler and I are gonna be back here crying like, "He doesn't even exist."
Yeah, that little fucker doesn't even exist. Latin for nobody.
Learn your words.
What's Latin for I'll be in the car?
Oh my gosh. That makes sense that Nemo would have a friend Dory who doesn't have any clue like what's going on with him or with what's going like.
You can piece it together. It's just an interesting way to watch the movie in a completely different way.
The
Good.
5 stages of grief and like
Gotta love a good conspiracy theory. And this
It was tasty.
one's probably the best one.
No way. It's better.
I love this right here.
what?
This
Is
is
it
interesting.
sad?
No, this isn't
Can we
sad.
get creepy again?
Let's get this is
Happy?
Let's get talky.
Ooh.
I want to talk about this one.
All right.
I want to know if you believe that this is what they were intentionally trying to do, because this is almost like, okay,
You're into it.
let's talk about the briefcase that turns Pulp Fiction into a genuine horror film.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it
Yes.
already.
Let's talk about the briefcase.
Yes.
What's in the briefcase?
What is in the fucking briefcase?
It's yellow.
They never show you, and so it,
think it's like
they,
gold
They
or
want
it's-
you to believe. No, gold doesn't glow like that.
No.
If a gold
Light.
with a light in the briefcase.
Well,
no.
they make you want to think it's like a prize.
It's
like
a prize. It's something special.
Very special.
And it's something that Marcellus Wallace wants badly.
Yes.
Perhaps one of the oldest and most widely circulated fan theories involves Quentin Tarantino's second film, Pulp Fiction. While the film depicts a highly stylized world of gangsters, oddballs, and petty criminals, it's all rooted in a fairly realistic presentation, except for one small detail: the briefcase. Sure, it's a MacGuffin that Jules and Vincent retrieve from Brett's apartment on behalf of their boss, Marcellus Wallace, but what the hell is inside of the briefcase that glows with a heavenly light and justifies murdering several people in cold blood? One theory suggests that the briefcase contains Marcellus's immortal soul. Yes,
What?
his actual soul, as in the thing that you sell to the devil. Evidence for this includes the Band-Aid on the back of Marcellus's head, which correlates to the biblical text that says the devil steals your soul from the back of your head.
Oh my gosh.
And if you notice, the combination to the briefcase is 666.
666.
And of course, the
Whoa.
weird glow.
God.
The fact that the theory ties into the film's themes of fate, morality, and choice lends some weight to it, as does the series of inexplicable events that occur in proximity to the briefcase, like the way every bullet misses Jules in Brett's apartment.
Yes.
Happened around the briefcase. Many fans theorize that the briefcase, chased down and retrieved by the hitman, contains the soul of Marcellus Wallace, who had previously sold his soul to the devil. That makes that story.
I'm speechless. Like, yeah, that
It's got to be it.
it has to be it.
After
I like it.
after hearing that, I can't think that it's anything else.
Has anybody ever asked
Nothing
Quentin?
else has been like
nothing
explained.
else. Nothing else makes sense.
Well-
Quentin would never ever
No.
ruin
Is that-
the lure and the question
Just
of
be like,
it.
oh, it's nothing, or it's
If
this,
he
or it's
answers that
that
question, it's done. But the like,
he
It's like a
wants the
magician.
theories.
He wants the theory.
You don't do something like that and not.
They never explained the Band-Aid on the back of his neck.
No.
And there is a shot. Like
It only shows the back of his head
We
with
all
that
remember
Band-Aid.
it.
Like,
we all remember it. And,
absolutely.
and like you don't
Absolutely.
even see his face. You're sitting there looking at the Band-Aid the whole time he's talking. Wow. Like after you like swallow that, let it digest, marinate it for a little bit. Like
That's the truth.
I can't think of it being not that really. Now, that's
Seriously.
a good one because that's like okay.
And with the briefcase combination and all those things, like
The shit that happens in proximity to the
the
briefcase.
gunshots, and everything that you're saying is like, that is pretty crazy.
And things that they didn't explain. Like they tried to explain the gunshots and they tried to make it like a
thing.
like
Explains the Samuel L. Jackson monologue.
Right.
Yeah, it does. Like there's just a lot that like makes sense.
That motherfucker had a hand cannon.
Say what one more fucking time. Oh my gosh. I like can't wait to watch this again just so I can like
And the
I mean
wolf.
again, nothing else has been explained for what the briefcase is. So like
I think fast. I talk fast. Pretty please. With the cherry on top. Clean the fucking car.
clear the fucking code.
This is some biblical shit.
I'm into that theory.
Yeah.
I'm-
I believe it.
I'm subscribing to that one.
I believe it.
So we went from like, I think my favorite theory. Let's talk about my least favorite theory.
Okay.
This one had to be brought up because like so many people fucking talk about this, but this is stupid as hell. This ruins not one but two things for me. It's trying to do a combination of things. Someone tried to.
Just love the disgust. on your
Someone's trying to
face.
like fuck with Fight Club.
Oh,
There's
you
so
knew that was
many
gonna
things. That, I
happen.
feel like that whole movie is leapt up to
It is a conspiracy
interpretation.
theory.
The whole thing is conspiracy theory. Sure, the movie's biggest plot twist is that Tyler isn't actually real and is in fact a narrator's hallucination. But what if an even bigger twist is that the two characters are actually Calvin and Hobbes from the famous beloved comic?
God. You did not just say that.
According to a hypothesis,
Well,
a young Calvin who used to create an imaginary friend out of a stuffed tiger grows up to be none other than the narrator. He's unnamed after all.
I can't even take this seriously.
Who
right now.
reimagines his childhood friend as Tyler. The roots of their secretive men-only fight club, The exclusive boys only club in Calvin and Hobbes. Gross. Get rid of slimy girls that they created as children.
Gross.
GROSS. I hate this theory. I didn't even want to bring it up.
I couldn't love it more.
You love it?
I love it
What?
so much.
I think we're lesser of a podcast for even addressing it.
Bro,
People are gonna be ashamed of us for even saying.
Tyler's
Hear-
all over
hear
it.
me out.
I want
I
to hear
love
you
Calvin
out.
and Hobbes and I love Fight Club. The two, I don't see having any correlation.
Sell this to me.
Yeah, please.
I want to hear
here's
what you're thinking.
Here's my argument. Okay. Take any former video game, any kind of a, cartoon that was ever alive and big when you were a kid that you loved and turned into a movie. They all sucked. Tell me Calvin and Hobbes turned into Fight Club as the live action narration of that movie. How amazing is that?
I will
That
say
could be the best movie ever made.
I do love Calvin and Hobbes. Absolutely. Blair.
I know.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh yeah,
Fucking Calvin and Hobbes.
of course.
Calvin Hobbes.
We
Calvin
had
Hobbes.
all of it. Like,
In Fight Club. I love Fight Club just like the rest of them.
of course.
They're not related. There's no correlation.
It's a classic tale of imaginary friend syndrome.
I prefer the Ferris Bueller imaginary friend situation. I thought this was a stretch.
I think it's a stretch.
I had to bring it
I
up
get
because there's a
it.
lot of
Like, I
people
get
that
what
like
you're
it.
saying.
Here's
There's a
another
lot of people that
argument.
like it.
This is what you get when you have an imaginary friend and you're an only child.
Still not buying it.
I love
Are
it.
you just saying that because you can relate to this?
Yeah, I see it from that angle. And I was like, oh,
was like-
yeah, no
You're
shit.
like, yeah.
I see this.
I see it.
Like, I don't know. I think that's a reach. I'm not into it.
I mean, I again love the creativity that people
Yeah.
put into it to
and,
test some of these theories.
and it just occurred to me right now that does not make Fight Club a horror movie by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all.
No.
By adding Calvin
it just
and
makes
Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes a horror story.
That's
Yeah,
okay. That's what
exactly.
it is. It's
Yeah.
not making Fight Club a horror movie. It's making Calvin and Hobbes the prequel to okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Good job, Blair.
Yeah.
Good save.
Thank you.
I know we got Blair around here for something.
Chimes in every now
gotta
and
keep
then
a
with a-
Blair on hand for
a nugget.
situations just like this.
Sweet nugget of truth every once in a while.
So we
I have my moments.
we destroyed Finding Nemo for everybody.
Yeah,
That was-
definitely.
That was a
Gone
good time.
forever.
That was a good.
Completely
That was a good
depressed
time.
about it.
Sorry, everyone.
Enjoy that when it's
Don't tell your
on
kids.
the tube. Nickelodeon. According to this fan theory, the Toy Story franchise is pure nightmare fuel.
Watching Toy Story again, it has some creepy ass moments.
All of them. All four.
This is gonna get a little weird.
Okay. Because we haven't gotten weird yet. So let's definitely
Yeah.
get weird now.
It's strange.
This is gonna get a little weird. The Toy Story films somehow combine the very chilling idea of toys coming to life whenever you're not looking, with the sort of emotional gut punches usually reserved for films about losing people to terminal illnesses. But what happens if you start overthinking the metaphysics of how exactly those toys animate? Well, according to Digital Spy, there's one fan theory that turns this animated flick into a straight-up horror movie that threatens to destroy everyone's inner child. As the theory goes, what if the toys are actually immortal vampire-like creatures that live off of children's joy? Aside from the
God.
fact that Immortal Joy Vampires is a cool band name, this idea transforms the films into terrifying stories of tiny plastic vampires literally draining happiness from your children and then doing it again to other kids because they're immortal. And if this isn't horrifying enough for you, there's another fan theory that's even worse. I prefer this one, to be honest. If the toys aren't immortal, then they're mortal. If they're mortal, they can die. But since you never see the toys being sentient and alive, you wouldn't know if they died. Therefore, your kids might literally be playing with a toy corpse right now. Just a fun little thought.
It's always been creepy to me since I was a kid that toys would come to life when you're not looking at them or when you're asleep. I'd have
Puppet
mom put all
Master.
those dolls in my room above my bed on the shelf, and I
Look
would just
down at you at night. You had a creepy
freak
room.
out.
I had a
Like,
fun room. I had
yeah,
a very
I had to have all the
inviting,
dolls
fun
stare
room.
at me, and I'm like, they're all alive right now. Like when I'm like,
You had a
asleep,
dollhouse
like,
and didn't play with dolls.
Oh,
You had
no.
like the creepy little figurines that would look down upon you from
my
your
God.
shelf up there.
And that concept has always freaked me out. Like thinking that they're just like alive doing all these things when I'm asleep or like walking out of the room. They just have this like whole thing going on. I mean, immortal or playing with like dead
toy corpses.
corpse doll or something. It's a little Chucky, but
I've seen some Christmas ornaments that come alive at night.
have you?
Those weird, creepy fucking elves that Mom seems to put out in recent years.
Elf on the Shelf?
She puts these weird fucking little elf
Oh,
doll
no.
things
I don't
in
know,
the
she's-
tree.
Oh, just
Oh yes.
These just creepy little elves. And yeah, they come alive at night. They haunt your dreams.
I think dolls in general just have like a creepy undertone to them because it's just like hard to understand. Like their eyes flap around and
Yeah.
it's just like don't trust. I think it brings me back to the whole Furby situation that just like
if the eyelashes
started
work,
my whole nightmares.
I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I swore my Furby was alive. Like I took the batteries out, I shut that
That
thing
thing-
back in my closet, and all of a sudden it would still just like talk to me, and I'm like, but like it's got to get out of the house.
That was the creepiest toy I've ever seen in my life.
And it's just like, I mean, if you wrap that around all dolls and all other things, like that's like it's creepy.
Let's talk about another
I like it.
Mix Mash.
I definitely believe in that one.
Matilda.
Oh no! Please don't ruin Matilda for me.
Ronald Dahl brought a deep vein of darkness to many of his children's stories, and Matilda is no exception. The same goes for the 1996 movie. In the film, Matilda's parents treat her horribly, and her headmistress, Miss Trunchbull, tortures her students and then gaslights them with insane punishments, which their
The
parents
choky,
don't believe are
it's
real.
pretty fucked up.
The only source of comfort for Matilda is her teacher, Miss Honey,
Miss Honey.
who also is a victim of Trunchbull's malice. Matilda is able to get her revenge when she develops the power of telekinesis, which she uses to torture Miss Trunchbull, trying to drive her away. So yeah, it's disturbing, but where's the horror movie? According to Screen Geek, there's a fan theory that turns this into a horror prequel. What if Matilda and her adoptive mother, Miss Honey, moved to New England, where Miss Honey's years of poverty and suffering curdle into religious mania? Perhaps in order to escape their past, they changed their name to White. And Matilda retreats into books and her own imagination as her home life descends into something darker than before. Just as Matilda's powers emerged when she needed them in childhood, they emerge again when she reaches a breaking point in high school. Except this time, there's a much higher body count. Yeah, they're thinking Matilda is a setup for Carrie, which definitely makes this
What?
kid's film even more disturbing.
Oh my god. My brain's still trying to just like put it all together.
Not a fan. I don't
That's
like
a huge
I don't
stretch.
like Calvin becoming Fight Club. I don't like
Matilda turning
becoming
Carrie?
Carrie. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really. I can see it. I like that part. Like I can see how it.
It's
They
a
could.
dark ass twist.
It's a deep stretch to it, but I don't hate it.
You don't hate it?
No, because she probably got sick of using her powers for good and get
She probably
shit on
was
her
like
whole
fucked
life
up
and
after all the shit, like having
Yeah.
that like shit family life.
It doesn't
and
matter
then,
who
possible.
your parents are later on in life. It's the formidable years that really count.
That's right.
So
It's-
you
she's
can only
probably
be locked up in the chokey so many times before you just lose it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could defend the argument by saying it's the same powers that Matilda and Carrie are using. Like
yeah.
they're-
It's
the
very
same thing.
similar.
The same powers.
Just one's for good, one's for not.
I just don't see Miss Honey like turning uber religious and
No, because
and
Miss Honey was like the savior of the situation. Like,
and there was like a background story
Savior.
of like her
Savior. You said it. Religious savior. She's going down that road.
what if I just?
You cracked
What
the
have
case.
I done? So many movies have completely changed for me tonight.
That one was for you. This one is for you. Does the devil show up in Groundhog Day?
What? Groundhog Day?
Oh yeah, he gets dark there for a little bit after he's like died 4 or 5 times, and he just starts killing himself
Yeah.
hard
Oh,
over and
yeah.
over and over again. Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
I guess that is
The
true.
film Groundhog Day is so genius that it's become a genre all on its own. Any film involving an endlessly repeated experience someone has had to break out of is instantly compared to the original. But the film has got a dark side to it. Phil Connors, Phil,
Phil? I was about to say.
portrayed by Bill Murray, isn't a nice guy. Also, at his lowest point, while trapped in the titular loop, he attempts suicide multiple times.
Yeah.
But the ending is bright and cheery as Phil learns to be a better person while finding love and freedom. But that film theory via the AV Club offers a bizarre idea that makes the classic a stone cold chiller. Ned Ryerson, the annoying insurance salesman who recognizes Phil, is actually the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants Phil's immortal soul. Phil's life seems just fine until he turns down Ned's initial request to buy an insurance policy.
Yep.
From that point on, Phil is tortured by
my
the
God.
unending time loop, and Ned keeps popping up. His
All
aggressive
Ned's
approach,
fault.
more and more sinister each time. Finally, after being completely broken by his torturous existence, Phil buys every insurance policy Ned has to offer, and he's instantly rewarded with his heart's desire. Did he just sell his soul to escape a devil-made purgatory, making his happy ending just a mere trick?
Oh my God, I kind of like this.
Believable.
Believable.
Yep.
Ned Ryerson.
He looks like the
Oh
devil.
my God, that is
Phil?
insane.
Phil Connors?
Oh my, I really don't hate that.
I don't
at
hate
all.
it. I don't hate it.
I liked when he punched him in the face.
I mean, especially how you explained
Ned
it, how he
Ryerson?
eventually
Bam.
got all the insurance and then everything changed where it's
I mean, it all started with Ned,
and it
and it
ended.
ended with Ned.
I never put those two
Me
together. I
neither.
never thought
Nobody
that
thought
when
Ned was just
that was the
the
thing
most
that
important
changed
character of it all.
And he keeps coming in to, he's always a part of it.
He's always
Each time
there.
it's a little more aggressive.
And he says no, 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 and finally
When
the
he
one
does,
time he does say yes.
Everything.
So all it takes is a
Y'all.
little life insurance policy, y'all, and you'll be
I
perfect after
like it.
that.
I like that these are all for movies that you have seen so many times and that
Yes.
are on TV constantly and that you will see so that you'll have the opportunity to be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to when you're sitting with your friend next time and going, oh yeah, Ned Ryerson, he's a devil.
Yeah.
You haven't heard that theory?
I can't actually wait to see it again because I feel like it's definitely an interesting way to look at the movie again. And again, I don't hate it.
Don't hate it. Shawshank Redemption.
Oh man.
It's a horror movie about a murderous mastermind. The Shawshank Redemption is a great movie about a wrongfully accused man who maintains his dignity and compassion despite years of abuse and confinement at the hands of a corrupt warden. Or it's a dark story of a master manipulator who murders several people, brainwashes his fellow inmates, destroys many lives, and vanishes into the wind like Kaiser Sose. According to Inverse, there's one fan theory out there that rests on the fact that everything we know about Andy's actions, motives, and thoughts is told to us by Red, the narrator. So if Andy lies to Red and fools him, how would we know? If you watch the
Okay.
film with the idea that Andy is a coldly calculating sociopath, everything comes together. This is a man who spends decades plotting an escape that brilliantly takes down everyone who's treated him badly. A man who effortlessly creates a false identity
Yes.
while stuck in prison
Yes.
and successfully tricks the warden into trusting him. He's a killer, and if narrated by Andy's character, could play as a decent horror film.
This is interesting. I don't know because in a way I can kind of see it. I mean, he does do all those things where
Yeah.
that typically wouldn't have. There's a lot of smart people in prison that don't end up getting to work for the warden and being trusted like that. And
For sure. Okay. So there's a pretty dark theory about Winnie the Pooh. This one was actually pretty interesting.
Winnie the Pooh.
This one actually kind of interesting. Apparently, the characters are actually representations of mental disorders. An article diagnosed each of the central characters with a different psychological disorder. Pooh has ADHD, OCD, and other impulsive tendencies. Eeyore is clinically depressed.
Yeah.
Piglet has generalized anxiety disorder. Owl is dyslexic. And Tigger has ADHD. Christopher Robin is schizophrenic, and the other characters are manifestations of his own imagination. The different animals represent Christopher's own struggles as a child learning to function socially and interact with the outside world. This theory kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that should be well received.
Like,
I mean, it is kind of true when
I
you like,
don't
break down
hate
each
it.
of the characters and you see like what all their
yeah.
like
If you-
Eeyore is like always depressed and
If you think of it in that light, it's kind of like,
That's why it works.
yeah,
That's exactly why it works.
you're like, well, that like
because it's relatable in some sort of way that we
I
can
hated
kind of, like,
Winnie the Pooh. Like, I didn't find any of those characters interesting.
We actually didn't
at
watch
all.
Winnie the Pooh.
I
That
liked Tigger, and I don't know why.
I did
just
like Tigger.
because
Tigger
he
was
was
okay.
He was cute and he had energy. Everybody else
He seemed
kind
to
of
be
just
the
like
most positive one.
yeah. Everybody
I mean,
else
Pooh was pretty
dragged me
positive,
down.
but-
No,
Pooh.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
that's
hated the way he
true.
talked. Eeyore was even worse.
no, terrible. And Piglet,
Piglet
had
always had something going on.
zero
Piglet-
confidence in Piglet.
There was just nothing relatable
That's true.
about
Tigger
Piglet.
would at least like come and bring the energy and hop on along and have some sort of something to bring to it.
Yeah,
I think it makes it more interesting because those characters didn't do anything for me before. Now it's like, oh,
Christopher
I see what
Robin
they're
was a
doing there.
sweet lad. He had a lot going on.
he had a lot going on.
They've made a lot of different like movies even based off this concept,
true.
which kind of does like when they do it more into like with the real people and of them like making the books or the movies and all those things like
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting take.
I
and-
mean that's not too far off.
not
And
too
again, books are made and characters are made because of like either real life feelings
they come
or
from somewhere. Yeah,
some sort of root of something.
characters
right?
are
So-
inspired by something.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Animal Farm, like,
Yeah, exactly.
come on. Aladdin. I want to end on
No,
Aladdin.
it's another Disney, so you know it can have a weird
I just wanted to-
twist.
There's
wanted
gonna
to-
be a lot of negative.
I wanted to end on this
A
one.
lot of negatives.
And this one was, I don't know, this is an interesting thought. Once heard a theory that this film is actually set in a desolate wasteland future after a catastrophic nuclear war rather than in the past.
Okay.
The post-apocalyptic theory comes from the genie's reference to Aladdin's fashion and how he's been trapped in his lamp for 10,000 years. That would date Aladdin to the year 10,300 at the earliest. There's also genie's references to 20th century, and while it's a bit of a stretch, the Sega Genesis Aladdin game from 1993 also features an unexploded atomic bomb in tattered stop signs.
What?
That shouldn't support an argument
I
at
don't
all.
see it.
Yeah,
But yet it's the only thing that's making me like,
maybe.
I
yeah.
don't know.
I'm not into it.
Never
I'm
put-
not feeling that
Never
one
put
as
those two
much.
together.
I think this was just clearly one that was like
That's pushing
someone's
it.
thinking it too much. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
They're using the references. It was just, you're looking too hard in the writing. If you're not enjoying the like
Somebody
the
just
the dirty things Disney put in there, you're not
Yeah,
you're not
look
watching
for-
the movie the right way.
Look for the different things
Yes.
in the songs.
Look for
and
the
things that
boners and like the
yes.
all cute girls take off your clothes.
Yes.
Sex written
on
in
the
sky.
balconies
Yes.
and all the yeah.
Yes, that's what we need.
Think more sexual. Have a
enjoy
lot
it
more
more.
fun with it. Yeah.
You'll understand Disney more.
Yeah.
The sexier you think.
Yeah.
Which that still blows my mind. All the sexual innuendos and all the Disney
Oh, those are fun.
movies.
We'll go over those as a entirety.
That's like its own segment.
It should be for anyone that doesn't. I feel like most know, and so it's just
Yeah.
like a collection of remember those.
I was so into it when we first heard, and I was like pretty
Mm.
young, still watching Disney movies when we were all sitting down, and like another family told
all of a
us about
sudden
it.
those
we were
Disney
like,
movies you had in the
"What?"
closet. I was like,
We
yeah,
got to go
we
through
could watch
all of them, and yeah, Blake was all of a sudden into watching them again.
All started with the Wizard of Oz and the dwarf that was rumored to have like
man.
committed suicide in the forest. Like all started with that, and then it went
Yeah,
downhill.
Yeah,
Starts a nasty obsession. Not good for a kid.
the Little Mermaid, penis buildings, and boners, and all the things.
Some of those theories, pretty far fetched. Yeah,
Some of them
some
I
of them were
really
good.
like.
You
like,
you can see it in some of the.
Tell me some of the ones
scenes.
that have stuck with you. That like, okay, I smell that.
I looked for the Lion King one. I think I saw it only on a screenshot online. I couldn't find it
Oh, no.
live.
You're talking
Oh,
about this-
for
yeah.
conspiracy theory. I'm still thinking about Ferris Bueller.
Oh,
I
which,
mean,
Ferris Bueller. That's the one that sticks with me the most. I feel like.
just because I'm like, I don't know.
And the
like
Willy
Cameron
Wonka
does
one,
have
too,
like
is
such.
pretty-
Oh, I definitely believe the Willy Wonka one.
But
I
yeah,
mean, even though that's like a very insane way
I feel
of
that is
looking
a
at
totally more interesting way of watching Ferris Bueller, is thinking that
like
he
Willy
is an
Wonka,
imaginary
you know, there's like
character.
weird undertones there that like go back to something. But like, I just keep thinking about Ferris. I'm like, is he imaginary?
The one thing I don't like about that theory though for Ferris Bueller is that he's the main character.
That's not like everybody knows him, says his name
Credits
the whole
roll
movie.
and end with Ferris.
With Ferris.
Everybody's like,
But he's probably one of the first, people to break the fourth wall.
It's true.
So maybe he's not actually there. So, that
but how is he the most popular kid in school?
he's everything Cameron is not.
Exactly.
I mean, and putting it that way, and again, like replaying what happens with Cameron during the movie, definitely like it sticks.
Now, is this what John Hughes was going for when he put this out?
No,
Hell no.
definitely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
But,
But interesting to think about for sure.
but after you've gotten
oh, and I
gotten
definitely
bored,
believe Toy Story also.
Toy
You
Story.
know, I believe that.
You think John Hughes wrote the Tao of Ferris? No. This isn't like a philosophical guide to life. This is just a funny.
I like the Grease one too. It's an oldie but a
You
goodie.
know what? Especially with the whole ending and all the weird different like. I mean, I know with musicals they like go into some sort of like fantasy thing for a second, but Grease like that again. Like I don't hate that either.
Makes
No.
the movie better.
Yeah, Blake
Does make the
again.
movie
Yeah,
better.
Blake
You
would
know?
agree
You're
with
right
that.
about that. Son of a bitch. Let's take a break.
Enjoying something crunchy? Follow us on social media and tweet us your comments and questions at crunch_cast. We encourage you to participate and thank you for listening.
We're back.
Pulp
That was good
Fiction
stuff.
has got me.
I
Thank
know,
you.
my mind is still in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's good.
The Pulp Fiction one was
I know,
the topic of
for
conversation
sure.
during the break.
Yeah.
Can somebody call Quentin? And
I feel like,
Just confirm
like
that.
how close
we gotta
are we?
know. We
on
gotta
those?
know.
The fans did good on those theories.
Some of those I was really into.
one blink for yes, two blinks for no.
Yeah, we won't say anything. It's fine.
Well, there's been a lot of horror movies out. We got to talk about those 2020 horror movies.
Seen a couple.
I'm not too impressed with this first crop. I didn't say there were good horror movies out,
I always
but
didn't
there
like-
are some horror movies. Some were better than others.
I set a high bar for
we
horror.
set
Like you
a
gotta like
really high
seriously disturb me. Like I don't like the poppy. Like oh no, like scary. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need to fuck with my head to
Yeah.
like
bar. Exactly.
I need to be
Really
nauseous
get-
by
to be
the
done.
end.
yeah.
Yes.
And there's
Sweaty.
like maybe like one that like actually kind of got in there.
I'm sick of some of these just stupid cookie cutter. Like let's just throw it out there. I'm sure
Where
like
a
we'll make
similar
our money
story's
back.
already been done. We'll throw a couple of like
same
big names
bullshit.
in there.
Just like The Turning. Let's talk about The Turning.
Okay.
Our first
I
movie.
haven't seen this one yet.
This was like a modern take on a 19th century novel, The Turning of the Screw by Henry James. Turning. It does have the Mackenzie Davis, who I like a lot. Finn Wolfhard, who does a good job.
He's good.
And Brooklyn Prince, they play these creepy kids.
Oh, the kids.
Yes, it's about an inexperienced nanny who takes a job watching two creepy kids in a huge
Yes.
spooky house. And the script comes from the Conjuring writers, Chad and Carrie Hayes, and I'm
just nothing new.
I'm not a fan of the Conjuring universe. I'm not a fan of all that. I thought it was very.
Meh.
It was just
Okay.
all right. And The Turning was. I'm done talking about it.
Was it quick at least?
It was an hour and 36 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. At least it wasn't 2.5 hours. You're just like, I just wasted
I
so
can't.
much of my life.
I can't stand those when they build you up, they build you up, they build you up, and then it just ends.
No ending.
No ending out of
No.
You
nowhere.
spent the entire night watching it.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
It's 2 a.m. I've been up all fucking night. Give me the
Shame
payoff.
me.
Give me the payoff. Exactly. I know you guys have some thoughts. Let's talk about Michael Jalapeno.
Oh my god, yes. Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
Island was all right.
Blumhouse's Fantasy Island.
Interesting.
Now, this was a horror twist on a television show. It was almost a horror movie,
Yeah, it wasn't like.
and it
so
was almost a
insane.
good movie.
It was almost all right.
I think you put it the best way to describe it.
I thought that, like, when I was like, okay, yeah, you guys will like this. It's kind of like, it's got the vibe of Club Dread, but it doesn't take itself as seriously. And it's kind of like the vibe
Yes.
that you get.
Very much so.
It takes itself more seriously, right?
There's a fun group
Yeah,
of
it
people.
takes itself more seriously.
And I mean, I like the concept, and at first I was like, oh, this is really cool, and then you realize that has like nothing to do with your fantasy like at all. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, it was entertaining, that's for sure. I was like,
I like the cast.
I wanted to see
The
what
cast,
happened.
Portia
like,
Doubleday, Lucy Hale, Michael Pena, the enigmatic Mr. Rourke makes the secret dreams of his lucky guests come true at a luxurious but remote tropical resort. But when the fantasies turn into nightmares, the guests have to solve the island's mystery in order to escape with their lives. I will say I just absolutely hated the big twist at the very end that everyone saw coming.
Oh,
we
yeah.
won't ruin it. I won't do the spoiler alert, but I mean,
You saw it coming for sure.
you casted the smallest Asian you could find, and his nickname, which you said twice, was T.
Yeah.
It wasn't the big, oh my God, no way.
Did love that Michael Pena was like the lead guy, and
Without him,
he had my interest. Like I loved
I wouldn't
it
have watched it.
because of that, at least.
Yeah. He'll bring you in.
Mm-hmm.
And I
It
just
was
wanted to
okay.
see him in just like a different role. Like it was just fun to see him.
A lot of these movies
that.
know they only need to get like that one person to where you watch it, and that's happened to me multiple times.
But this did have a lot of people that like I did like
It-
and it was kind of fun
that one
too.
had
like it
a
was
full
there was
cast.
laughs. There
it
was
did,
like
but most of these, like, there's so many examples where it's like
Again, the ending was
Elijah
just
Wood, yeah, I'll watch something with
underwhelming.
him. Nicolas Cage, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll check
of
that out
course.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of those.
And they're all bricks. They're just putting up brick after brick.
So, no, some of them were not. That's what we're here to determine. The Invisible Man. Everyone fucking loves The Invisible Man. To say that this is the #1 horror movie of 2020 says that we've had kind of a lousy crop of horror
Yeah,
I mean, I
movies
don't
so
know
far
about
in
number
2020.
one, but again, it was entertaining to me. Like
You know, it wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah.
And
especially thinking
was
it was
alright.
like
It was a
basically
horror
just going to be
movie.
Hollow Man, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it wasn't. Okay.
It was the only one of these movies, really, where there were a couple of parts where I'm like nodding my head, like, okay, yeah.
I thought Kevin Bacon was going to pop in just for like a quick cameo, give you a wink and pop out there. But he never did. So
Remember me?
Hey,
Ew.
you guys have seen this movie before.
No, I thought it was well
Just like
done.
a little knock, knock, footloose, and then out.
Especially when I love like futuristic like horror to it. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of crazy, but
A woman is stalked and tormented by her abusive ex. Only no one can see him. No one believes that he is still alive. Putting his spin on a character originally created by H.G. Wells, Lee Winnell has written and directed The Invisible Man, which stars Elizabeth Moss and Oliver Jackson Cohen. A tour de force in horror over 15 years, Winnell is primarily known as the architect of the Saw and Insidious franchises. And you could tell that it had some
Saw-like
Yeah.
tendencies.
yeah, when it had some teeth, like there was some experience behind
for sure.
the camera.
Again, that's what
for
made it
horror.
like well done.
That was interesting.
It was shot cool. I love Elizabeth Moss, so I was intrigued by that. And then I thought it was a cool way to do it.
It was a cool way to do it. It was
The house was awesome.
it was better
mean,
than I
it
thought
was
it was going to be. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Definitely better than I thought it was.
Easy
gonna be.
watch.
That's one that everyone I feel has seen and is certainly a horror movie. This one is on like every horror movie list, and I feel everyone has seen it for the most part, including the three of us. Let's talk about Swallow.
Oh my God.
I have a
I
couple.
don't see this being a horror
Swallow
movie.
sucks.
First of all, yeah, even though it's on multiple lists, this is not a horror movie.
Let me just tell you how tough it was to be pregnant watching that movie.
Let me tell you, good luck searching for Swallow. If you're going to download it, it only takes about 30 pages of porn before you find the feature presentation. Oh my God.
Very
oh my god,
hard
that's
to
so
find.
hilarious. You have to be like swallow film. Nope.
Oh
and they're
my
like,
God.
there's
2020.
plenty
I
of
literally
those.
typed in Swallow 2020 and
Not
got
porn.
30 pages of porn. I was like, geez, if I just typed in Swallow without the
Who
year.
knew?
Oh my God. Kill
Oh my
swallows.
god.
And the Jennifer Lawrence doppelganger, that was pretty distracting as hell as well.
Tyler and I it took us like an hour and a half. The whole movie was like an hour and 36, and an hour and a half. They were like,
Haley Bennett
Jennifer
really
Lawrence?
isn't related to Jennifer Lawrence.
I think 30 minutes into it, I turned to Blair and I was like, "What's up with, Jennifer,
Jennifer
Lawrence's
Lawrence?"
eyes? Like, why does she keep making that face? Like, it's not bad,
they were
but
just
why?
both staring at her like,
It's just a little distracting. Why she?
I
keep
know I'm a
making
little
that
cheech,
face?
but that is Katniss Everdeen, right?
yeah.
Yeah, they call it a darkly funny and quietly creepy story of an ostensibly happy housewife who suddenly decides on a new hobby. She's going to start swallowing small household objects. This offbeat, unpredictable, and visually impressive fable is anchored by a powerhouse lead performance by Haley Bennett, Jennifer Lawrence.
Haley Bennett, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah,
it wasn't a powerhouse of anything. It wasn't a horror movie. It was hardly watchable.
No.
I was into the premise, and it just didn't get where I wanted it to go.
I was waiting for the
Nothing
horror to
happened.
come in. I mean, and it
No
just kind of
horror.
hit it was like an intense drama.
It was an intense drama.
And then it ended with
it wasn't that
some
intense.
weird stuff, and like it's
Weird.
just again,
Sad, slow, weird,
Sad.
no ending.
make
Sad,
an ending,
slow,
people.
Or
Just
no
make an
sad.
ending.
You
Just
gotta have an ending.
You have to end it somehow.
Yeah, that ending. Tyler and I, after watching that whole thing, just look at each other. We're like, that's
Are
it.
you shitting me? That's the ending.
Even our synthetic sequels that come with a paragraph synopsis still have an ending
have
to
an
it.
ending.
Come on.
Beginning, middle,
No, that
end.
was a tough one. That was a tough one.
Get in fucking line, people.
It wasn't
Come
a
on.
horror movie. The only reason why we're even talking about it is because it's on everyone's list of like 20 horror movies, and it's like high up on the list, like of the ones that were like ranked.
Didn't it get 90% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh
It
my
did.
God.
I was looking at that, Tyler. It's got
Biscuits.
90%.
Tell me
90%.
that that's not true.
That means 90% of the people in this world have zero taste in
No,
movies.
that's Rotten Tomatoes. The users, I think, was maybe a little bit less.
Oh, that's the
It means
staff.
There's like a different
Oh, okay. Not
rating for people that have actually seen it, I believe.
People, like, there's not enough people who've seen it and voted to make a realistic.
But again,
True,
like,
that was based on 4
I've seen
votes.
like
Yeah.
My Strange Addiction
3
on like
votes.
TLC, so I feel like that was just like a more
yeah,
intense drama movie version
and I've
of
seen
it. I'm like, where-
crazier half episodes of My Strange Addiction. Like
Which,
it
like-
was,
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah.
again, it just kind of
Cool.
put more of like a sad feeling on it
Yeah.
than anything. Where it's just
Remember
like,
that girl that ate her mattress? That stuff had a better
ate,
ending
like,
than
drywall
this movie.
and like
You
all
watch
Stop
some
sorts
eating
of
the
girl-
stuff.
mattress. She got better.
You spend 10 minutes trying to dig a marble out of her poop, and you're like, this isn't.
Fish. She's squeezing
Where-
the cheese, looking
where-
for the ting ting
Where's
ting.
where's the horror?
That's what I was wondering. It's like, how is this place in the horror section?
Let's get back into horror. We've mentioned it. Let's talk about The Hunt.
Yeah,
Betty Gilpin. Yeah, I mean,
she was great.
she's great. Hillary
That's
Swank.
the blonde, right?
That's the blonde.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Hillary Swank. Yeah,
Hillary
getting
Swank.
Hillary Swank did great. Like, again, entertaining.
dusted off her old
Entertaining.
karate gi for
That's
this one.
Next Karate Kid.
Dust off.
Yogi.
She got out there and started swinging that
Channeled
roundhouse
her
again.
inner Miyagi for this one.
I almost forgot about her. She was hot in this again. She's
You
looking good.
you liked Swank in The Next
I
Generation.
like to get swanky.
You were
She was smart.
she was smart. Yeah.
Now, I liked, again, I had no idea what to expect when watching The Hunt. And then again, like, it was just, it kept my attention the whole time.
Yeah.
It was like,
don't
go.
Don't fall in love with any character, and it
No, 'cause
started and it kept
that's
going.
that was hilarious. Like, oh my God, I love them. Duh.
Gone.
Oh my God, I love them too. Duh.
Oh,
Like,
they're in this
damn.
too. Yeah, he was in that.
Guess
too.
they're not the main character.
I
Who else-
didn't,
what
yeah,
is
I
this
didn't know
about?
who the movie
What is
was
happening?
about.
Yeah.
I didn't know like the main character.
Well,
for
but
the
But we kept
first-
watching and was like full attention the entire way through.
Sure.
Like, we were into it.
The socio-political commentary of this movie may be all over the place. It isn't intentional otherwise, but it's fast-paced, frequently shocking piece of action horror mayhem. And there's a good deal of dark fun to be found there. A little bit more of a contemporary take on the classic Most Dangerous Game, the man hunting man premise. But here it's presented with a good deal of energy, color, and intensity.
Yeah.
I feel like that's well.
Had some funny
That's well
quotes
put.
in there. Definitely got us.
There were
Yeah.
some very memorable scenes.
Yeah.
There were some memorable scenes.
Some shit that I was just like, that's good. I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna use that on people.
I'm gonna like that. Let's talk about Underwater. This
Okay,
was
I haven't seen this one yet.
again. It was. It's
good?
it's like a sci-fi horror action B movie. Yeah, they describe it as a slick, efficient, impressively intense piece.
It's efficient.
It's efficient.
Huh.
Ties up all ends.
It's a matinee goodness that delivers the goods and doesn't waste any time with boring subplots or pointless characters.
Like
You might
that.
disagree depending on how you feel about water creatures and Kristen Stewart and a few co-workers, including T.J. Miller, who I like, finds themselves trapped in a facility deep, you guessed it, underwater, and must work together to escape before the whole place blows up. Also, there are sea monsters.
Of course.
So it's like two movies in one.
I was gonna say, like, I get like
These
if
people-
crazy events happen
yeah.
when you're working on like
They're
a rig
they're
down
working
underwater.
6
Like
miles underwater.
that's more my
Ooh.
speed, and then you add like the crazy
But then
sea
there's, like,
creatures. You're
It's
like, you're probably gonna
Armageddon
lose me.
and Abyss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You got my interest.
it wasn't a bad
How
movie.
are the sea creatures done? Like, is it done well,
Scary?
or is it like,
were they crazy?
On a scale
or is it
from
like
1 to 10,
Signs
I
when it
give
was
them like a
creepy
7.
until you saw the alien and then it like ruined it?
No, it wasn't like Signs where it was creepy until it was ruined. Like, no, you see him pretty clearly, pretty quickly, and like, it's pretty intense. I'm into the
I'll
creatures.
give it a
That's
try.
cool.
And anything underwater does freak me out.
It was okay.
I mean,
It was okay.
Water scares me.
I thought you were going to say anything. T.J. Miller freaks you out.
I love T.J. Miller.
Can you find that friend for me?
Yeah, meet me up back in 20 minutes.
How could you not like T.J. Miller?
Let's talk about Come to Daddy.
What is this one?
Elijah Wood. Everyone
Love me some Elijah.
everyone likes
Does
Elijah.
a horror movie?
Elijah Wood is so rich and has made so much money
Yeah,
from Lord of
seriously.
the Rings and
All the
Wilfred,
other
so
things
much
he's done.
Wilfred money.
Wilfred.
I'm just kidding.
What's his name?
Wilfred.
Wilfred.
Yeah.
It's not Wilfred.
Isn't,
The
Wilfred?
show and
The FX show about him and, and the
Oh,
dog.
I thought you were thinking of his name, and I'm like, that's not his name in Lord of the
Frodo.
Rings. I'm like, it's Frodo. I'm like, Wilfred.
Wilfred money. That FX
All that the
cash.
Good Son movie.
I'm like, I haven't seen Lord of the Rings in quite some time.
The
but
Good Son was a horror movie. If you guys,
The Good
That's one of
Son.
his great
That's
horror
what's up.
movies.
I think that was
Him and
Macaulay's
Macaulay
best movie ever.
I agree.
That was a fine job. That was a great movie.
Yeah,
Good Son.
scary.
Well, he also did a Come to Daddy this year.
Was
Yeah.
it scarier than The Good Son?
It wasn't. I don't know. We saw the Good Son as
Children.
No, but it would
yeah. So it
still
was-
be creepy.
yeah.
To this day.
No, it would still be like intense, and there was some definitely crazy intense parts to Come to Daddy.
Okay.
I mean, towards the end of the movie, Elijah Wood has a conversation with a guy who's missing a piece of his head, with like brain exposed, and like it's
Gross.
it's cool.
We'll definitely have to check it out.
We'll have to keep this one vague to protect the surprises. But suffice to say, the always cool Elijah Wood plays a strange man who goes to visit his estranged and truly miserable father, an event that kickstarts a series of revelations and violent altercations that you'll never see coming. Darkly funny and enjoyably unpredictable. It also features a wonderfully nasty turn by the great Stephen McGatty. And I liked it. It's definitely worth watching. It was interesting. It was different.
It's a horror
There
movie.
are some twists, and they're like, okay, you don't see that coming. And once it kind of like starts, it takes a while to like get it going. Almost kind of reminds you of Tusk in the beginning. How it's just
Ooh,
kind
yeah.
of
That
where
was
it's
a
where it's like
really cool beginning. Grabs you.
yeah, and you're just kind of like, whoa, okay,
Like, I don't know exactly what's happening.
yeah, I'm not
but
sure exactly what's happening.
I'm intrigued.
but yeah,
Don't know
and-
what this is about.
We gotta see this.
yeah, you'd like some Come to Daddy. You watch anything interesting last night?
Oh man,
Sure did.
we watched The Platform last night.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the platform.
That was
Compared to these other movies, now that I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, the platform was awesome.
No, I don't have bad things to say about the platform.
No.
It was different.
out of these. It was the more like I said. You need to like mess with my head
Yes.
for me to be like a horror movie,
Yes.
and that like.
This will mess with your head.
Let me tell you, I had some weird ass dreams after
Yeah,
that.
this
that's
is
for
an
sure.
intense ride. This is like
You prefaced this movie with subtitles, and I was like, all right, I'm
it's
gonna
got
have
subtitles.
To... No,
No.
it doesn't. It
They
has
dubbed it
dubbed.
over.
It's dubbed.
We watched it on Netflix.
I
and
watched it on Netflix,
It's been dubbed.
and I was gonna say this is the
We didn't
only
read.
movie
There was not one subtitle
on this list that I'm sure you can actually watch.
No
on
reading.
Netflix right
It
now.
was just you could tell their mouths were speaking in a different
They were
language.
speaking Spanish.
Couldn't
I
tell
think
what.
it's a.
Oh, I read that entire fucking movie. I still loved it. I'd watch it again if you
No,
can.
yeah.
I think
well,
it's
a
you can pull it up
Spanish
now, but it's been
movie.
dubbed over, so they're speaking English.
And
But
that was the first thing we said. We were like, "Oh," and he was like, "So their mouths aren't just so they're just it's just dubbed."
Well, the platform, a man awakens in a cell with a stranger, and their only sustenance arrives by way of a massive platform that arrives daily. but there's not enough food for everyone in this facility. This is a Twilight Zone level mind bender mixed with dark psychological horror, full of pointed social commentary. It's also just sort of a fun, weird movie too.
It's a crazy, like
just,
futuristic prison that like.
But people
Just
are
a
there
different
voluntarily sometimes.
The guy wanted to like
and
stop
they get like
smoking.
a diploma
I was like,
afterwards.
what?
I didn't understand.
Like, you can't just
I
put,
didn't
like,
understand that. Like it
the
wasn't.
smokes down?
They didn't explain that. There wasn't simplicity
there's-
of it where it's like a prison. It seemed like at times there was like a social like experiment. It seemed like
The way that I read that is that they use it as a prison, they use it as a college, they use it as a bunch of different things, but basically the people go in and you spend a month on each floor. Is that what it is?
You spend 30 days on a different floor and you don't know which
You
one
don't
you're
know
going to
which
wake
one.
up on.
Next,
so certain
yeah.
and you get the impression that if you're like after floor 50, you're not going to see
You're not
even the
getting
any
smallest
food.
scrap of food
No,
for 30
because
days.
30
that
days.
platform is completely
So-
Well,
picked
and that's
clean.
the
People
experiment
are
is,
start
like,
eating
can
their
people
roommates and like
on the higher level or on the like
yes, can people in the top tier
Save
share the
and-
wealth and keep people
And you're not supposed
like
to
in the
talk
outside
above.
world, can we all like
Yeah.
live in this world where we all help each other and make sure that all of the wealth is spread out amongst
can
all
the
of
top
us?
10% like share the wealth with like the rest
Can
for
it
the
trickle
greater
down?
good.
By the time it gets down past
It had me though,
trickle
because
down
imagine
foodonomics.
waking up and not knowing. That's the scariest part. You don't know who your cellmate's going to be, and you don't know they like
That was
put in
interesting.
a gas, and
Yeah.
you just like wake up and you're either on level
Like
5 or
28
6
or,
that's
like,
like
yeah,
you know
you don't
high
know where
up,
you
and you're
are.
going to get some good food for the next 30
Or
days, or you're
126 and-
300 or whatever,
Where there's no food
however
ever.
many
Yeah.
levels there are.
That one's on Netflix.
When
That's
I
a
woke up,
solid
I was
watch.
like, "What level are we on, Tyler? Are we going to eat today?
272 again.
Save me some breakfast."
Oh, that's funny. Let's talk about Color Out of Space. Nick Cage,
Okay, that's the Nicolas Cage one. I haven't seen this yet.
Jolie Richardson, and Tommy Chong plays a small part in it too.
That's just crazy.
I
I
wanted
would see
to
it
like
just
this.
for that alone.
And I did. That's exactly
That's
what I did. I
probably
was like,
why.
go check it out. This was they played on every cliche in the book. I mean, they played on meteor falling and everything getting weird, like
Okay.
where it lands. Don't drink the water. The weird, strange things are coming from the water.
Okay.
They played on
Those are already two very different concepts, but okay.
alien visitation. There was like multiple
Checking all
the boxes,
all
huh?
these just like cliches, just
stick with one and,
mashed
like,
together, and
You pick one.
You can't just throw like 10 in there and be like, it's all of it.
Yeah.
It's just all of it.
It's the scary movie of apocalypse movies.
no, it wasn't an apocalypse movie.
Was it horror?
Yes, it was horror. It's like a sci-fi horror. Here's what I had to read about it. It's been a long time since we've had a damn good Lovecraft adaptation. I wouldn't say this was one. Here's one that would probably make director Stuart Gordon, the Reanimator from Beyond, super proud. It's about a seemingly normal American family that finds itself infected by a freaky meteorite. Director Richard Stanley and his collaborators managed to tap into the best aspects of Lovecraft's dark fiction while adding some excellent new touches of their own. There were some crazy parts. There were some parts that like I would just watch separately of the movie. It does turn like there's some really cool scenes. It's cool like the use of color. Like
shot well.
yes, like this like something's disturbing when the color pink is introduced.
Okay.
And like all the plants and everything
Love
start
that.
turning pink.
I like that kind of
like
idea,
that
yeah.
that was pretty cool and well done. And there are some genuine parts where you just did not see that coming, and like a door opens and you're just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Oh, I like that.
Is this like
Surprise me, like do something different.
And even the graphics weren't necessarily excellent. The CGI was questionable. It was just there's still just some parts where it was like, whoa, wow, cool. Ooh, yeah.
I'll still see it.
Still got to see it. So that's what we got so far in 20, like kind of the best of the mix. That's what I want to bring to the table. Seen all of those, and like
They start to beef up toward the end of the year around Halloween, but still, I haven't been all that impressed.
I'm
besides-
not completely impressed with 2020's crop so far. There's not crap out there. There has been some good stuff.
There's some
but
good ones to
Platform
come.
was great,
I'm-
but it
I'm
was
more
a foreign
ex-
film. Come
Yeah.
on, let's get something domestic.
I'm more excited about things to come. Let's turn it over to B and talk about some of the most anticipated horror movies to come out in 2020.
Okay, so there are some good ones. First off, this one totally creeped me out as a kid. I'm already scared for it to come back. Candyman.
I was hoping you were going to start with Candyman.
That one did it for me. Like, I remember being real creeped out by that.
Jordan Peele's producing.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, director
That's gonna
Nia
be scary.
DaCosta and
supposed to be like
screenplay and outproduced by Jordan Peele as well. So excited for that.
Yep.
Okay, so in present day, a decade after the last of the Cabrini Towers were torn down, Anthony and his girlfriend moved into a loft in the now gentrified Cabrini. A chance encounter with an old timer exposes Anthony to the true story behind Candyman. Anxious to use these macabre
Origin
details
story.
in his studio as fresh grist for his paintings, he unknowingly opens a door to a complex past that unravels his own sanity and unleashes a terrifying wave of violence.
Into it. Sign me
That'd
up.
be awesome.
They had like the perfect guy for Candyman originally, so I hope
Yes,
that
even
that
just the
happens again.
voice. No,
Yes.
it does. He's coming back.
Oh,
And,
see,
like,
Same
that's
guy.
Yeah, same
good.
guy. His pipes are
Good.
gonna be
I
even
love
better.
that. That is the best. Like, use the people that just like
They're
do it.
they're calling it a
if it
spiritual
would have used
sequel.
Tim Curry, then it
Exactly.
would have been a
That
hit.
was exactly what I was thinking.
Exactly.
100%. Like, I would have liked
You know
everything.
what was
with-
missing? The voice and like
Yeah, it was that
gotta have
original
it.
feeling. That's why I'm glad Candyman, like, he made a big difference for it. So definitely excited. I think that comes out June 12th. So
Okay.
get excited.
Pumped.
An interesting one. This comes out, September 25th?
And most of these I know are all kind of to be determined because everything's
Yeah,
been
there's a
thrown off by the
couple.
virus.
There's like 4 that I have that actually have dates.
Yeah.
Even that. But
That's
yeah,
good.
most of these are
Tentative release dates.
Yeah.
most of these
Exactly.
are to be determined for sure. It's just supposed to be 2020. But this one is Last Night in Soho.
Heard about this. This seems interesting.
Yeah, so this is a young girl passionate about fashion design is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer. But 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to fall apart with shady consequences.
Ooh.
So, like, time travel, horror, it's like different than what you expect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of intrigued. Again, that's all
like
we
the
kind of
name.
know about it. I know, Last Night in Soho.
That's a cool
Yeah.
title for
That's
a
cool.
movie. Yeah.
And fashion design girl, like, I'm just interested to see where they kind of take the story and
That's
what's
one.
happening
That's
in
one.
London.
I need
and,
to
like,
hear something about it first.
Yeah,
like
I need
someone
a
needs
good
to tell
recommendation
me. Yeah.
for sure. But I mean, again, I like a different kind of concept, and I'm interested in time travel pieces sometimes. So I feel like that could be good. Of course, a new Halloween.
Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills comes out October 16th.
This is the 10th one?
I believe this is the 12th installment of
Number
the Halloween
12.
franchise.
Lucky number 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so I just had to say it's written by David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, and Scott Teems. So interesting that Danny
Yeah.
McBride had a hand in this.
That's cool.
Jamie Lee Curtis is back to, reprise their role.
Judy
Kyle
Greer's in it, I
Richards,
think?
Judy Greer.
Yeah.
There's they're bringing back all the originals for this one. So this is going to be one to see.
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
awesome.
Well, they're making like a sequel to last year's Halloween with Jamie Lee
Right.
Curtis and
Oh, and Tyler, I know you're going to be excited because Anthony Michael Hall will also be joining, which is one of your favorites.
Ross. Yeah,
And this is a Blumhouse production produced by Jason Blum, so
That's a nice
it's going to be
team.
good.
It's a
It's got a
nice
good
team.
team with Danny McBride. I'm just interested to see how they do it. I don't
I
see
love
all
Righteous
of the Halloweens,
Gemstones.
but I'll
I
see
like to see
this
what he does
one.
with some horror.
I'll see this one.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Army of the Dead.
This looks cool.
This comes out winter 2020.
Mm-hmm.
This stars Dave Bautista.
Sweet.
Yep.
So I know, Tyler, you like
Of
that too.
WWE fame.
Yes, which actually I thought he was a great actor. I think we saw him in another
Stuber.
movies.
Yeah, we've seen him in a
Right?
few things. Yeah, he was in Stuber.
Okay,
Most
and I don't know
recently.
Stuber's
how
good.
serious this is gonna be, but It's set in the aftermath of a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas and follows a group of mercenaries taking the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. So I don't know if this is like, it's probably going to have like some laughs, but might be like have its crazy moments. It's probably going to be shot well.
It will be shot well. Zack Snyder's doing it, the guy that did Justice League. So so it'll have like,
we'll see how like much of a horror flick it is, but I think it'll be like,
It'll look cool.
it will look cool.
and it'll
No doubt
probably
about
have some
that.
fun.
That's worth
stuff
seeing.
to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I know a lot of people are excited about A Quiet Place too.
I'm excited about A Quiet Place.
I
We don't
didn't
have
see
a-
A Quiet Place 1.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Where have you
Like,
been?
yes, we did.
What the hell's the matter with you?
I think it was so quiet I passed out.
That might have happened. Emily Blunt,
You're
John
being
Krasinski.
ridiculous.
And John Krasinski like directed. Like I love them, and I thought they did a great job
Yeah.
at the first one.
You got to see that. It was
At
good.
least
I gotta
again.
see it in the morning. That's the
It was
problem.
good. I mean,
But again, it was like different. I
It was
like a good
different.
different
Yeah.
concept.
I'm pumped for the sequel.
Yeah.
I liked the first one a lot.
Creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Creepy.
The
Definitely.
Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they fight for survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they realize the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path.
Wow.
So there's more than just like the creatures that hunt on sound. So, I mean, again, I like something different that brings something new to the table, and it was pretty like suspenseful. And for really, you have to do a good job with being silent the entire movie. Like I think
Yeah.
they did a really good job
They did a good job.
keeping that going.
They had noise though and stuff, and there was the monster, and
They
like,
just
you
couldn't
heard-
talk.
They just couldn't talk.
Yeah.
They had to be quiet in a lot of scenes.
It's a quiet place.
A little too quiet for Tyler. We
a
turn it
sleepy
up just a
place.
little bit. So this one, Antebellum.
Okay.
This is the producer of Get Out, which was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
Stars Janelle Monáe,
Us
who I
and
love.
Get Out, which is why they're using her
Yes.
for sure.
So I'm already excited hearing that. Let's see. A successful author finds herself in a horrifying reality and must figure out the mystery behind it before it's too late. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't know a whole lot about it, but
I like the Us, and although I wasn't a big fan of Us, I thought that was.
I actually don't know if I ever saw
that
Us, but I
was-
did see Get Out, and that was like, whoa.
Get Out
Yeah.
was really
It was
good.
good.
Whoa.
Really different, really good. I was into that. It deserved the praise. Us did not. Did not deserve the praise it got when it came out.
Well, we'll see what Antebellum brings.
We'll see, Blair.
I'll definitely give it a chance.
We'll see, Blair.
we'll see,
We'll
Blair.
see.
You bring your notes.
I'm into it. I'm definitely going to give it a chance. Another one I definitely got to see just because Run, starring
Yep.
Sarah Paulson. So
Sarah Paulson.
I got to see it. This one, a homeschooled teenager who uses a wheelchair begins to suspect that her overprotective mother is keeping a dark, sinister secret from her.
Munchausen by proxy.
This is almost giving me the vibes with that Gypsy Rose kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know this story yet, but that was like the first thing I thought about was like, oh,
Could
is
see
this girl
that.
just getting tortured and is already like going through so much? Like,
It's gonna be a
Interested.
thinker.
We'll see how it develops.
$10 says it's a thinker.
yeah, I agree.
Real psychological thriller.
I agree.
It's a good fit for it.
You know?
Okay, so this one's interesting. Spiral
I hoped you were going to talk about
from
Cyril.
the book of Saw.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson.
Wait,
Definitely
wait,
have to see it.
what?
Yes.
He's like he wrote a new Saw movie.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone thought it was a joke that like they come out with a
This
new
is-
one. He helped
this is
develop it,
happening.
and he's starring in it. Everyone thought it was like a joke that like Lionsgate was putting out.
That's amazing.
And like no, it's very real.
It's very real. It's like a horror film.
Is he in it too?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in it. Stars
Lionsgate's
in it.
officially released. They're working in the shadow of an esteemed police veteran, which is Samuel L. Jackson, a brash detective, Ezekiel Zeke Banks, Chris Rock, and his rookie partner, William Shank, take charge of a grisly investigation into murders that are eerily reminiscent of the city's gruesome past. Unwittingly trapped in a deepening mystery, Zeke finds himself at the center of the killer's morbid game.
Zeke Banks is a cool name.
Zeke Banks.
Kinda
I
cool.
like it.
That's a cool name.
I'm
this
just glad to
cool?
see Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson together.
Yeah, that could be cool.
The Saw movies actually do like mess with me quite a bit, which I do
Yeah.
there's been like 12 of them, I feel also, but like,
And they brought back the same director that did the second, third, and fourth one. The same.
see,
the
and
same
I did
director that
like,
did
I
those
mean, I like,
movies.
they're all like different enough where I'm like, I'm intrigued, and it's
Yeah, I was
like,
into.
it's
I was
always,
into them for a while. I even went and saw the 3D one in the theater. And that
Saw
was ridiculous.
3D?
Saw 3D. It was.
oh yes.
Did the blood hit you in the face?
It was an experience. And then Jigsaw that came out. I didn't
course.
see that in the theater.
See, there was
but I
again
did-
like
I did
so
see
many,
it.
but they're bringing
There's
the
so
big
many.
guns for
Bring-
this one. Like,
Chris Rock was like, "Yeah, let's bring it back. I got a way to do it." And like they were like, "I'm into it."
like if you're
Okay.
serious, like we're
Yeah.
so into it.
They made it.
The last one I have here is Antlers,
Antlers.
starring Carrie Russell. A mysterious creature escapes from its confines to wreak bloody havoc in a small Oregon town. So small town horror.
The movie poster alone looks really interesting for Antlers. I'm excited to see a trailer for it. Like we don't have enough for like a premise, and
Yeah.
there's not enough info on it to like get excited. But,
But I kind of like some of those
seems like it could
movies
be
where I
cool.
don't know anything, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, "What the fuck?" I had no idea what to expect, and
That's
that just
gotta-
like hit me in the face.
It's got to be a thing. Antlers? Is that a proper fear for people? Because they gross me out.
I mean,
Antlers.
they're sharp,
Antlers.
they're big, they're,
They're
scary.
pointy.
They're pointy. They're like weapons, but they fall off sometimes. It's weird.
Especially if it's on a
Yeah.
different creature that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
You know, that could be scary.
Ooh, like a man with antlers.
I mean, I don't know about a man, but it could be like
Mantlers.
a
If you put
mantlers.
you put antlers on a
Well, now that's all I'm thinking. It's like,
They should have just renamed it Mantlers.
if you put antlers on a rabbit, it's a jackalope.
Jackalope. Yeah,
So if you put antlers on
Which
shit,
is like a
it
way
makes it
scarier
totally
rabbit.
different.
does.
Extra scary.
I'm thinking of like a centaur with like
Antlers?
mantlers.
Half bowl.
We're gonna be so far off, and I can't wait till this comes out.
Fun to speculate.
Yeah,
Well, we did a little mid-season horror, you guys.
we got to.
We had to
yeah,
knock
I
out
missed
some
some
horror.
horror.
Can't save it all for Crunchtober.
I know.
This has been another episode of Something Crunchy.
Yes.
Don't ever forget to live your crunchiest life.
Be crunchy to one another.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and all that crunchy good shit. Thank you for listening.
There's 300 levels, but by the time it gets past 50, there's 0 left. So
You're not supposed to know that, bro.
oh, well, cut that then.
Cut.
Cut it.
Just cut.